So we're here with Eric Dierks at Renovatio Farm. We missed the first 5 minutes of Eric's ride. We're down in his dressage arena, and he'll tell us when I talk to him at the end why he's working here. Tell me how she's been going lately.
She's been doing really good. Sometimes with the training, you know, you could get into babying the horse a bit. I was working on a lot of the stretching techniques at first, and now I'm putting the screws on. You know, she's got to learn to back up off the contact. So you've seen today we worked in the dressage arena, and that gives me really good bearings, keeps us all honest on our figures as well. Yeah, it's not easy, but it really backs up the training later on, especially when somebody wants to turn. And instead of having them run through the eights to the corner, it really makes a difference.
Right, so we saw you today sitting the trot, doing some serious leg yielding all the way across the diagonal of the trot.
She's just right in the state of, when we first start off these horses, you put your leg as security around them, and she's just at the start now when you're working on dressage, that the leg becomes lighter and just touches the horse. And the same thing with the seat aids as well. I sit rather well, so I find myself easily working with my horse and feel complementing the rhythm for the horse when I sit, and getting them to move off the left leg, the right leg, and off the hands. So the horse is becoming very versatile, and that's what's going to help the canter.
When I got on there and started to, when I moved too forward, suddenly I felt about 30 pounds in my left arm.
Yeah, you know, that's a really good comment, because what we try to do is it's like a pendulum of collection. The better the horse collects, the better the horse can lengthen. So you only exercise how much they can collect and lengthen, but you don't want to go this, collect this much and lengthen that much, otherwise they're just going to fall on their forehand.
Isn't it, to go out there on this beautiful moving horse?
Especially when she's got that much power.
Right.
You want to unleash that power, but she's learning how to contain the power, put the power in her footsteps, and that's what we like.
So how do you feel her temperament is responding to this kind of, you said turn the screws up, I know you may just put a little bit of pressure on.
Yeah.
Is she handling that okay?
You know, I got a really grip of reality when somebody came to try her as a hunter, and I had to show a picture perfect frame the moment they come out of the stall. So I couldn't walk for like 15-20 minutes, otherwise I'm going to bore the buyer and they're just going to walk away. So I walked for 2 minutes, put her in the trot, and she felt really strong in the hands, and I thought, you know, I'm going to have to back up my training a little bit more. And so what I did was I took her down to the small arena and said, transitions, 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 and tighten up the screws that way. And instead of just working on the stretching, which was all coming really nicely along, but we're on a little bit of a time frame. We never want to be under a time frame, but for the trainer's challenge, for the horse to be sold in a shorter time period, I need to make the horse a little bit more rideable. If I had the horse for a longer time period, I probably wouldn't tighten the screws as quick on it.
So we talked about that in the beginning before we went out, about whether or not to jump today. And you would express that she'd gotten really strong and you wanted to bring her back and get her more balanced, working the square down there before we go back to the jumping. And so you are planning to jump again, or are you hoping to? Or
yes. Well, I think, as you can see, the canter's not as developed. And I think the canter's not as developed because she has such a strong ass end. She really pushes over herself, and she needs to learn to back that up. So the trot is actually what's helping that canter. And so I'm doing a lot of walk trot. Today was the first time we cantered her for a week. And that's already helped the canter a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to try to get her to canter some jumps by the time this trainer's challenge is over. And if she is not quite as successful over the jumps cantering, at least it trains the canter as well.
Right. So you've slowed things down in the hopes that it speeds things up.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Do you get many horses off the track for training?
I do. I think the off-the-track thoroughbreds are starting to increase in numbers. They're starting to become a little bit savvier about putting them directly in training. Usually I have to deal with the problems that they introduce to these horses. I'd rather work with them straight off when they come from the track, because they know how to go forward. It's very simple, and it's harder to correct some of the problems that people interject in them trying to get control of these off-the-track thoroughbreds. When it's not really control, it's just balance and loosening and working with their brain.
Right. So you like them straight off the track better than, you progress faster than if they've been in their own hands.
Yes.
In between racing.
Yeah, that, and it's also nice to give the horses some time off in the paddock. Time off to let their brain relax, let them get introduced to a whole new feeding regimen that what they have at the track, because they are going to go through their weight loss as Brazilian has too. She was introduced to work right after her racing, so the weight loss went down, and she's right at the stage of gaining weight again. So
and you said she has more energy now, actually.
Yeah, she's starting to feel better. I think like any athlete, when they come off a tight working regimen and they go off of no work whatsoever, they almost go through just a little down period, a little lazy period, and then it's time to go to work again, and they just get a little lazy and lethargic. Like, well, now that she's been in the routine and having the nutrition that she's getting, she's starting to show some energy. And at first I thought, wow, this would be a really good amateur horse. And many horses are good amateur horses, but and a professional route going, like a 4-star horse, a Grand Prix jumper, or a Grand Prix dressage horse that's going to be competitive in the world, has a little bit more spark to them. And this horse is starting to show me some spark, but very rideable spark.
I mean, I could feel the spring in her step every step she took.
Yeah.
And some real power that she doesn't know how to use yet, but
well,
she knows how to use it on the track.
But what was really interesting, getting to watch somebody else ride the horse that I've been on, and I haven't seen anybody ride this horse. She's got this eye that has grit.
Yeah.
When she struggles, she has the same eye that has like to a potential like a killer kind of eye, you know, calm, killer type of eye, confident in herself. And I think that's going to really come around when it comes to doing her first 4-star, when it comes down to jumping, or
even her first cross-country school.
Exactly. I mean, she definitely has grit.
Yeah, when I was on her and there were horses up on the hill, she looked up there. She insisted on looking up there. I wasn't going to stop her. There was no way I was going to stop her. But there was no anxiety. There was no real desire to go there. There was just checking it out and very confident about it.
Yeah.
You said the other horses left her out there in the ring and she's just fine.
She just goes right to work. This horse wants to please herself.
Yeah.
And she's so into herself, isn't she?
Yeah. When these people came to look at her, you must have had to talk about price, and you must have thought about what this horse might be worth. You're probably craving to own this horse yourself, but what do you think she's worth at this point, or at the end of this 5 weeks?
Well, I think because she is so rideable, I don't think you're going to get too many surprises at a show. Usually when they go to the show, they start to prove themselves. But in my head, I think this horse could be priced anywhere between 10 and 15,000.
Already?
Yeah, because I feel the potential there. Every horse is worth different amounts of money to every person. But to a professional, this horse shows some potential to being something big. And I think 10 to 15,000 is a really good legit price for this horse. Yeah? To some others, they might not feel the rideability right away, or they want to do not just novice and training. They may not feel comfortable paying that kind of dollar amount for the horse, but I think the horse is going to be just as rideable in the future. Let me have the horse for a couple more months. I will appease the amateur that wants to ride a very rideable horse to go to novice and training with, eventing, let's say, or even the hunters. And then for the more professional looking, I'll have the show to back it up.
If you were to be lucky enough to have this horse in training 6 months from now, what do you think you'd be doing?
I think the horse would be showing. It's hard to determine whether the horse will have a dressage path, an eventing path, or a hunter-jumper path. I think it's healthy for horses like this that show potential to jumping, that every horse should do a little bit of eventing up through the training level. I think it's healthy for the for even the hunters, even the dressage horse, to get out there and do something different. So I think in 6 months' time, I think she could be doing a training level event. You know, I would have preferred that she had some time off from the track. As a matter of fact, if I had the horse for 6 months, I'd probably give her a month off. You know, just to let her relax, and then restart. Let her get some fat on her, so I could turn that into muscle, and she'll bulk up a lot healthier.
How do you feel about Kerry Blackmer and Tiffany Catledge?
Oh, way to put me on the spot, huh? All three of us want to win this Trainer's Challenge, and we're all pushing the button as hard as we can. I think they're doing an impressive job with their horses, and it's really nice to see how much they love their horses. I mean, they're really into their horses, and every one of us want to own our horse now. I think there are going to be a lot of tears when we have to give up the horses at the end of the month.
Have you noticed how the 3 horses fit the personalities of the 3 of you?
Very much.
Yeah, the
very
serious
much.
professorial one. Carrie, the comedian, was her funny, 4 times the trouble, and then the nice one is definitely Tiffany.
Yeah.
And Solidify in a way is the sweet horse. She's actually having a lot of fun with high level now too.
Yeah.
And he's not the sweet one, but he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she had a lot of work ahead of her with the 2 horses,
Yeah.
and
She might whoop you in this thing with a horse that she's ridden for 2 weeks.
she got the odds in her favor getting to choose a horse too.
Okay, well, we'll see you in a couple weeks, week and a half.
Thanks, Steuart. Thanks for
All right.
coming out.
Okay.